always nice to be recognized for what you do, and a lot of people would think of you in the way they think of you. Some people do regard me as perhaps a new voice in crime writing, perhaps as an African writer of crime. Personally, I like to think of myself as just a writer who happens to be African. However, I do know that the way people come to your work and describe your work and describe you is personal to them, and I'm happy with it. The plots in my books are mostly related to what's going on in the society I'm writing about. Like all crime fiction, I'm holding a mirror up to the society. Now, the plot itself is driven by whatever themes I'm addressing. So if I'm talking about police brutality, gender-based violence, violence against women, or corrupt politicians, that's what I want to talk about, that's the story I want to tell, and that itself dictates the plot. Truthfully, I discover the plot as I go along. So I don't start with a plot, I start with a theme. And then the plot kind of reveals itself to me through the characters who seem to, like every writer says, they become real in themselves. They have agency. And it's almost as if I am watching them and reporting or recording what they're getting up to. So my latest thriller, When Trouble Sleeps, which is the second book in the Amaka thriller series, it opens with an event that leads to a particular politician becoming the favorite to become the governor of Lagos State. Lagos is a city of about 20-25 million people. It's the largest, the economy of Lagos is larger than the economies of the countries that surround Nigeria. So it's quite an important population, it's an important government, and whoever becomes the governor of Lagos State wields a lot of power. Now my hero, Amaka, has dedicated her life to fighting corruption, violence against women, and stuff like that. And because of the job she does, especially the way she protects women, sex workers, because of that work, she gets to learn a lot of intimate secrets about the men who use prostitutes. So when this man is tipped to become governor of Lagos State, Amaka knows some very, very dirty secrets about him. The kind of secrets that cannot be swept under the rug. The kind of scandal that would not only see him being disqualified, but should get him jailed. So Amaka is going to do everything in her power to make sure this man does not become governor, and this man is going to do everything in his power to make sure Amaka does not release the secrets she has. And that's the basic plot. There's a subplot. Yes, in my first two thriller novels, it's in Africa, the Amaka thriller series, I've written the third book in the series that would come out next year. It's called Unfinished Business. That's also set in Nigeria, in Lagos. I have a sci-fi type novel, The Beautiful Side of the Moon. That is set in Lagos, on the moon, and in other dimensions, that I haven't visited. Neither have I been to the moon. And I have a new thriller that is going to be the first book in a new series, this time featuring a male protagonist, a male Nigerian protagonist living in the United Kingdom. So that's going to be set in London. The reason I've set the plot for the Amaka series is in Nigeria is because what led to the stories, to the book, to the creation of the character is wanting to talk about a specific kind of violence against women that happens in Nigeria. Definitely happens everywhere in the world, unfortunately. However, I was particularly moved by something that happens often in Lagos. So that kind of decided that the story was going to be set in Lagos. It was a story about Lagos. Yes, so one of my favorite books ever is The Palm Wine Drinker by Amos Tutuola, an African writer who wrote in ungrammatical English intentionally because you can tell from the book that he has refused to change the nuance and the beautiful rhythm and poetry of the Yoruba language just to fit the English grammatical structure. So he writes this beautifully magical story set in Africa as an African, writing in English but without any care for the rules of the English language. And he thus creates a spectacular piece of work, which is still studied still today. Another one of my very favorite books growing up was Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. I've read everything Chinua Achebe has ever written, including his swan song. And even today, a lot of Africans are still writing and doing their trade in Africa. The problem is access to public publishing. Yes. There are many publishing houses in Nigeria that are very good, and I think with the internet, with electronic books, we're beginning to get more access into other markets. I think the real issue for African writing is that, if there is an issue, for a long time, African writing was expected to be literary fiction. There was a bigger market for excellent works by the likes of Ngozi, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, like Helen Abila, just to name a few. However, with the genre fiction, we're only now having people like, I forget her name now, Nnedi Okorafor, who's doing amazing sci-fi. Agree, she's writing from outside Nigeria, but within Nigeria itself, anytime I go to the Ake Arts and Books Festival that holds in Lagos, you meet so many young writers, so many writers that are published in Nigeria by one of the many beautiful, good presses in Nigeria, publishing houses, but we've not learnt about them in the West. That sounds like a problem. However, if you consider that Nigeria is a country of over 250 million people, England is a country of maybe 60 million or less. So yes. I don't think it's that much of a problem. However, everybody wants their book to be read in all languages and all over the world. And we just need the foreign press to expand their view of what African literature should be, to include genre fiction. And we also need better infrastructure, to sell our books in all the markets and not rely on an English publisher. There's a lot to be said on it, but my opinions are mine alone, and my opinions are only as good as the extent of my ignorance. Well, I I find that in crime writing, which is, like I said, one specific genre that holds a mirror to society, you are writing about the climate within which the crime happens, the socio-political climate, the corruption that leads to the poverty that leads by necessity to the crime to survive. Now, because of the particular genre we write in, where we talk about crimes, from picking pockets or to stealing food so that you do not starve, all the way to murder, to psychopathic killings, to all of that, the very subject of our genre is very dark. But nobody wants to be subjected to extreme violence and darkness throughout. So I think as a necessity, in our genre, we need to bring in some humor so that we can lessen the blow, so that we can still show our audience, our readers, the truth about the society we're talking about, while not totally engulfing them in the darkness of the situation. I think dark humor comes in there perfectly, I think. Thank you.